bad thing, actually. Tell me when the music stops. It's okay.
All right. All right, the music has stopped, Dan, since you can't hear the soundboard.
So I said it's kind of an odd blessing in disguise, actually. So, you know.
Yeah, Dan, for some strange reason, can't hear the music this morning. So
yeah,
Dan can't hear the music.
Can't hear
exactly.
The music.
So he's the Beethoven of the podcast, I
guess. Yeah, I don't know about that. That would imply I have some sort of fucking talent. So
maybe you could be the Helen Keller of the broadcast.
That actually
we could make awful Helen Keller jokes.
That would actually be more. Yeah. Could you imagine the jokes that we grew up with, like in the 80s, and how they just simply would not fly now?
Oh, no.
Nothing.
Not at all.
Everything is. I was just talking about that yesterday, and I don't remember. Oh, it was a T-shirt that we had when I wrestled. I think we got them in 7th or 8th grade. But our high school wrestling coach got these T-shirts made that said, girls play basketball, boys play football, real men wrestle. Right. Which is incredible cringe just because it is. But now that shirt would trigger the fuck out of everybody.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
People would be triggered everywhere.
That's definitely like a Facebook meme.
Right.
When you add anyone who's over like 40 on Facebook, that's what your feed consists of. A screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot that says shit like that.
With some, what did I see yesterday? Somebody was trying to push some bullshit agenda. And the website was like ChristianImperialist.com or something like that. Yeah, right. And so, of course, I had to click it because Adam and Doug will tell you that I like with Reddit, I go find the darkest, most fucked up things I can find. I'm fascinated by the human psyche and how twisted and black it can get. Anyway, yeah, so I click on it and dude, it was exactly what you would expect it to be. I mean, it was just, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been funny as shit to me when somebody posts a link and it comes from something to the effect that it should say, we're totally fucking biased.com.
I mean, we all know that. I mean, all news is biased. Anything written by a human being is fucking biased. But when you make zero attempt to even try to, argue yourself, I've always called myself a devil's advocate, and it's because I'm pretty good at it. Well, I'm fucking brilliant at arguing with myself. But anything that I see or read, I like to try and think of the opposite argument, the counter argument. And I think I do a pretty good job. At least I try. Fuck. Maybe I don't do a good job. Maybe I suck as a human being, but I do try to at least see other people's side of things. I don't always agree with them, but I can say, well, this is probably what they were thinking. Things that I can't understand how they were thinking, and I'll do my best to segue this. I'm sure with the date and everything, everybody and their brother knows that Colorado has experienced yet another mass shooting at King Soopers, which is a Kroger-owned grocery store out here. Some asshole went into a King Soopers in Boulder over there on Table Mesa and apparently opened fire with an AR again. Because they're scary and tactical looking. I'm to the point I don't even really have anything to say about it anymore. It's just that hasn't been said. It's the same argument over and over. I think people know how I stand. But what it really boils down to, I think, in my opinion, I don't blame him, but you had Reagan and the Republicans rolled back the mental health, I think it was the Mental Health Care Act. and I could be wrong about that. But Carter,
You are. It's the Brady Bill.
No, not the Brady Bill.
The Brady Bunch.
I'm going back before that. I think
Marcia was involved in that.
Marsha.
The rolling back of that
you're
one.
You're too young to be making Brady Bunch references.
Oh, sorry.
There was
well,
a
see,
movie.
the thing is, it's a medium that lets you watch it no matter what time it is. So yes, I did have to watch it on TV Land, but
TV Land, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it was like the Mental Health Care Act. I meant to look it up, but Carter signed it into in 1980, right before he was ousted. And it was to dump a bunch of money on a federal level into mental health, and they worked with NIMH to, try to understand mental health better. And Reagan came in, and he and the Republicans cut that shit out. I was reading, and it was a bit of a rabbit hole, and I need to read it some more into it. But I guess in that time there was this belief that psychiatry was somehow related to communism. But you also have to look at the times, right? 1980. I mean, that was the Red Scare, and
don't be depressed. Just cheer the fuck up and grab a gun.
Right? Depression is communist.
The communists are coming,
and that's right. I mean, that was the thing. Communists were the big scare. Just like now we have immigrants. It just seems like white Americans constantly find something to be fucking petrified of. But yeah, the Republicans, Reagan rolled all that back, and they closed down mental health facilities and everything else. And you got to wonder where we would be today if 40 years later we had been dumping some cash into studying mental health more than we do and taking it a little more seriously. Because again, I always come back to that with these mass shootings or any sort of, guys driving trucks through crowds and bombs and everything else. The fact that this guy had a Middle Eastern name, and I think they identified him as a Muslim, which I don't know that I understand why they didn't be like, oh, Timothy McVeigh, a white Christian guy. Or Columbine guys as agnostic or atheists, whatever.
Well, it wasn't because they were atheists, because they played a lot of Doom
and listened to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, that's right? What happened.
Had nothing
that's
to do
the problem.
Their home life or the fucking schizophrenia or anything else. And
no,
I guess that's my frustration. It's just that we don't, in the United States, we don't take mental health seriously, and we, I've got my issues with it, and whenever I talk about it, I have literally had people pull me to the side and say, hey man, you shouldn't talk about that kind of shit, man. You shouldn't talk about your depression and your anxiety and stuff.
Yeah, if you just don't talk about it, it goes away.
It goes away, right? If you ignore it, like any health issue, if you ignore it, it goes away. Everybody knows that, Dan.
It's all in your head.
People say, yeah, it is. And people, well, it freaks people out. It scares people and shit like that. It's like, dude, I've never hurt anybody in my life, and I'm never going to. I'm not a threat to myself or anybody else. Life is very, very difficult in times, and it really shouldn't be. And for other more well-balanced people, they get through it just fine. And I fucking struggle. But it scares people. Okay.
Just stop being sad, dude.
Stop being sad and anxious all the fucking time, Dan.
Yeah. And then it'll be better if you just stop.
Just do what's acceptable as a man and drink more and be angry all the fucking time. Beat people, get into fights, and yell at immigrants, and other minorities, and gays. Don't forget the gays. You got to scream at them too. So, it's, I just don't even know what to say about this shit anymore. It's that I haven't said 1,000 times. It's about mental health. The dude was fucking nuts, and he was a hateful, horrible human being that did a terrible thing. And it's not that people think that because I may or may not own firearms, that's what it's about for me. And it's not. It's about, I don't want to see us spend another 40 years from the 80s till now. I don't want to spend another 40 years banning things and going the wrong fucking direction, and wasting the time, money, and energy to argue a point that isn't worth arguing, I guess. I don't know.
For me, the largest difference between now and when you go back to the 80s and whatnot, and in the 80s when some weird shit happened, or the 90s, or on into the 2000s, what you saw a lot of is when you had somebody that had committed mass murder, or they were a serial killer, or what have you. They would do interviews with people that knew them. They would do interviews with people that lived near them. And, what you would always really hear was, well, he seemed so normal. And, nobody really knew anything was up. A lot of these individuals that are happening today, everybody, a lot of people that are around them are not shocked, because they've seen the sort of rabbit holes that a lot of these people have gone down, a lot of the weird conspiracy theories, a lot of the strange stuff. And more than anything else, I think what we've, kind of lost sight of is that there are some people out there who should not own guns. It's like, I support the Second Amendment, and, it's like, I like guns. I own guns. I don't go out and, hurt anyone with my guns, but I realize if my guns got into the hands of someone who had an axe to grind and mental issues, that, they could take them out. That's why I try to be responsible with them. And as far as gun control, I support some basic gun control. It's because pretty much anything that comes up gun control over the last 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, the NRA has done a decent job of knocking it down. But there's some common sense stuff that can be done. Like, hey, let's try to keep guns out of the people's hands who are on watch lists.
Yeah, right.
No, that infringes on their rights.
And that argument's been made before. They've been trying to make that argument for the last 10, 12 years. Hey, let's close a couple of loopholes, and let's get out there and just try to make sure that we're not selling guns to people who shouldn't even be allowed to buy a fucking stick of chewing gum.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big 2A supporter, and always will be. But for instance, one of the things that I've always found really odd, like the idea of a background check and stuff, right? I have no problems with that. I really don't. But is the one where if they do the background check, and if it doesn't, if it's not, no,
Getting a
please,
drink of
Parker.
water.
Wait, just whatever's good for you, buddy.
Getting him a drink of water.
Well, I mean, in Alabama, as far as like if you applied for a concealed carry permit,
Oh, dude, that was the easiest thing in the world.
yeah, but at the same time, it was easy to get a gun in Alabama, but part of the concealed carry permit was you had to find 3 people.
That was countywide. That was based on county. I lived in Shelby, and I didn't have to do that because I was new to Alabama, and I was looking for people that would vouch for me. Yeah. And Shelby was like, "Nah, dog, $20."
You're like, do you need my fingerprint? No, you're good. $20.
Yeah, they do a background check. They check, make sure you're not on any federal registries. They do a fingerprint. They put it on record, actually. And then, it was $20. But now Jefferson County, which is probably where Doug lived, you had to have 3 people that would basically vouch for you that, you're not a nut. And while I get
nuts hang out together.
I do.
Well, I mean, I understand that, but at a very basic level, if you can't find 3 people
Yeah.
that,
You would weed
regardless of
out a lot,
circumstances,
yeah.
if you can't find 3 people that say that you're responsible enough to own a fucking gun,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not own, but carry concealed, right? You could still buy one, you could have it, but and there's a lot of back and forth on concealed carry laws, even, and if believe it or not, I've read some interesting articles on are they racist and classist, right? Because of the money and you got to go through the training and that costs money, and you've got to go get the permit and that costs money. And it was an interesting take on it. I don't know if I buy it or not, but it was an interesting take. But there is a loophole with the federal background check, and I think it's like 60 days, where if they don't get it back to you in 60 days, either affirmative or denying, the
3 to 5. It depends. I think it's like 3 to 5 days. If they don't get back to you in 3 to 5 days.
No, I think it's longer than that. I think that it's average is 3 to 5 days, but I think they have like, and we can check, but I thought it was like 60 days. It's
related
it's a
to
really
the story.
long.
Yeah, related to the story, the FBI had, already had tabs on this guy, and the place that sold him the weapon. It went past the time period. He was able to. He was able to buy.
That's fucking stupid.
The FBI is like, we got him, and then he walks into a gun store, and they're like, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, see, and that's the other thing when people want to ban this and add more laws, and the ones we have don't work, guys. And criminals don't care about laws. That's the point. But you can close up some stupid, and I think that the idea that after a certain date they go, well, sorry, we didn't get back to you in time. Here's our 5-day guarantee. No, if it doesn't come back, you don't get the gun. Why are you in such a fucking hurry? I mean, I've bought firearms and had to do background checks, and I didn't care, or it might be, hey, we're going to the range in a few days. I hope I can go pick that up and take it to the range. I can't. Gosh darn. Okay, well, I'll take a different one. If you're in that big of a fucking hurry, there's a problem, right?
Well, I would be a supporter of, you take a look at traffic accidents in different parts of the world, and you take a look at, now it's like when I say this, I'm not talking about gun laws. I'm talking about driving laws. If you go to get your license in England or France or Germany, it is a pretty arduous process where you have to have, lots of training, lots of, you have to have so many hours in the seat. You have to get certifications for all sorts of shit to be able to get to drive. And their insurance rates are lower, their accidents rates are lower. I would not be opposed to putting something into play, at least, on a state level, that if, you had just like if you want a motorcycle in the state of Colorado and you haven't been previously licensed as a motorcycle driver, you have to go through a motorcycle safety foundation course and or turn around and pass a similar course on site. Now, I would support something like that for gun ownership. It's like, hey, let's make sure you've got some basic competency along with background checks and the whole 9 yards. And then when if you got your golden ticket that says, hey, I'm not a nut job, I know what I'm doing, I'm not going to shoot my own foot off, I would support selling that person a gun right over the counter.
Well, and I think that the point there is that, again, the Second Amendment is it's gun ownership is a right. Okay. And I get that, and I get where that comes from, and I want to maintain that as much as possible, for reasons. But there is something to be said about that, right? You were talking about this right was established for good reason, but it was also established in a time when gun ownership was a little more common. And what I mean by that is, I know there's more guns now and all that. My point being is that commonplace, maybe is the word I should use, in that everyone had a rifle, right? Because you hunted. That's how you fed yourself. And I don't want to blame, movies and video games for gun violence, because there's been many studies that there's no correlation. And I don't think that people play a violent video game and then suddenly decide they're going to go shoot something up. That's not what I think. But what I do think is that if your only exposure to firearms has been movies and video games and media, you don't I don't think you truly understand what's coming out of the other end of that fucking barrel, right? I don't think you understand the permanence. I don't think you understand the devastation, and I don't think you understand the consequences of what's coming out of the other end of that barrel. Growing up in the middle of farm country, hunting country, watching, again, I've said this before 1,000 times, watching a fucking 250-pound deer drop to the ground and struggle to breathe because it wasn't a clean shot will leave a lasting impression on a 7-year-old. So ask me how I know. It's why I don't hunt. I don't like to hunt because I don't like killing animals. You like fucking eating them, whatever. I didn't say anyone can't hunt. I didn't say it's not a necessary thing that we have to do. I just don't like doing it. And that's why I don't like doing it. I don't like to make anything feel pain. But see, that's why I would never shoot up a fucking place, is because I don't like to make other living creatures feel pain. Like, I don't like that. I've wanted to beat some motherfuckers with a lead pipe from time to time. I didn't do it, but I sure thought about it. But I've never once thought about, I'm going to go grab a gun and shoot that motherfucker. Not, my first ex-wife's boyfriend. I wanted to get a hold of him in a fucking dark alley. You better believe it. Right. But I should explain that he was her boyfriend while we were still married. So just people understand that I'm not just going after my ex's fucking lovers or whatever. But when they're fucking at the same time that I'm fucking her, that freaks me out a little bit.
And you didn't notice?
He was quiet. He was quick. He was easy. I didn't,
He's standing right there.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly at the same time, Adam. I misspoke. Sorry. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was some confusion there. So
I would like to think you would see it.
He was a big dude. Yeah, I probably would have. But it'll change your perception of things. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I know some people that own guns. Let's go shooting, Dan. Fuck you. I don't want to be anywhere near you and a firearm. I fucking refuse. I'm a little bit militant when I go shooting and when I'm around a firearm, and I've actually, irritated some people because I've been like, hey man, straighten the fuck up. But that's just how I am with them, because there's a lot of permanence on the end of that fucking barrel, man.
You always have that one guy that's like, let's go to the range. And at some point he's going to turn to you with his gun and be like, give me one good fucking reason I shouldn't drop you right here.
And then
just kidding.
Yeah, right. A moment of silence. And then it's like, yeah, I've known that guy. Exactly. Or the dude who starts trying to Wild West shoot. And I was there in Helena, Doug. There was an old rock quarry that they had turned into a shooting range. It was a great little range, but the problem was it was in the middle of nowhere, so you never had any. Nobody ever came to check on it or whatever, and you'd get these assholes out there with full auto and stuff like that, and they would just be out there Ramboing it up, and I'm like, nah, fuck this, I'm out. So I've shot full auto 2 times, and both times were at a range, and I paid money to do it, and it's a fucking blast. People say, what do you need full auto for? What do you need a fucking 454 big block for? It's a fucking thrill. It's exhilarating to try to fight that fucking thing, and actually keep it on target. That's the funny thing about fully automatic, is that it's just a spray. But it's fun, and that's what I enjoy about shooting. It's kind of neat to put a pound of pressure on a bang switch and touch something a couple hundred yards out and do it with accuracy. And when you watch these guys that do like 3-gun, Keanu Reeves has done a ton of 3-gun for the John Wick movies. And it's pistol, shotgun, rifle, like AR type rifle. And it's fucking incredible to watch these guys. There's a woman, and I can't remember her name, and she is just a badass. fast and fucking accurate. And there's I think there is some skill and sport to it, you know.
Yeah, if you don't think so, try out something I particularly enjoy. Go out to a place that has either trap, skeet, or sporting clays, which all three. Which all three of them are shooting, basically glorified clay frisbees thrown in various orientations. I highly recommend sporting clays. That shit is much harder than you think.
Son of a bitch.
But I particularly enjoy it because I get to go out, I get to shoot my gun at a live target. I get to instantly see the results of me hitting it when that thing
live
breaks apart. Well,
a moving target.
Yeah, but see, that's the
moving target that doesn't feel pain.
I get to go out, I get to shoot something, I get to see it break apart, and nothing has to die for it.
Yeah. And there is something visual about, like, you know, we used to shoot at watermelons. Watermelons are great to take out with a 44 because they just boom, and that's it. And it is a lot more fun than a piece of paper, you know. But like Doug
you ever
said,
hit one with a shotgun slug?
Yes, I've shot just about anything you could imagine into fucking watermelons. We've spent a lot of money. Well, not always, because again, you're in farm country and somebody's got fucking watermelons growing, you know, like you had the milk carton with the seed in it. Every kid's done that. And pumpkins. Oh my God, the pumpkins that I've shot.
Oh, dude,
pumpkins fear me.
We used to go get, because, you know, reactive targets were always the most fun things to shoot.
Oh, yeah.
And you could go down to the Winn-Dixie and go by, because there was, more or less everywhere had an off-brand cola company way back in the day. And the local one around Alabama at the time was Shasta. You know, it may cost you $4 or $5 for a 12-pack of Mountain Dew or Pepsi or Coke, but Shasta was like $2, $1.99. So you would go buy a shitload of those and take out your rifle, take out your pistol. If you can hit a soda can with a pistol and you're sane, I support your right to own a gun. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're probably not a danger to me. You know, and that's the funny thing too, is if you look at the fucking assholes that go out and do this, they are not indicative of gun owners, of normal gun owners, because of what you just said, right? They go out, they've never owned a gun before. Most of these fucking assholes went and got the guns right before they committed the atrocity, and were just out there just spraying fucking bullets everywhere, right? I mean, the closest, the only one I think of that might break that trend would be the dickhead in Las Vegas. He was a gun enthusiast, I think, right? But beyond that, the majority of them are just fucking assholes. Because you're right. Most of the people I know that are true gun owners, aficionados, or lovers, whatever you want to call them, I don't find them to be dangerous. They say some dumb shit once in a while, but I don't think that they're dangerous in the fact that they're going to go out and cause some sort of mass harm. I'm more fucking worried about what was the cocksucker up there in Kenosha?
Kyle Rittenhouse?
Yeah, that fuck stain. Because that again, it was very deliberate. He had been thinking about doing that for a long time. And again, the cocksuckers that do these mass shootings, it seems like it tends to be a relatively short span of thinking of doing it and doing it. Even Claybold and the other cocksucker from Columbine, they had talked about it for a little while and then went and did it. But Rittenhouse got a little fucking chubby every time he thought about playing fucking Call of Duty in real life and shooting a fucking minority. That was, he was just dying to fucking do that.
What's going on, Dan? Oh, there it is.
It's like he just waits. It's like he waits until I'm on the fucking podcast. He's like, yeah, time to go drink water.
Yeah. This is water drinking time.
I like the way you stopped to emphasize it, though. You stopped. You did the little listening ears. There
No,
was
I was
like
looking at him.
dead silence.
Yeah, I was looking
And
at him.
then, I
I had it muted, but you guys are like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Dickhead McGillicuddy over here." So
he's thirsty.
So in other news, and I feel like I need to update because I actually had a couple of people hit me up, which is kind of neat because now I know that some people do actually listen to this podcast. A couple people hit me up regarding my vasectomy last month. So I figured I'd update everybody. This has been bullshit. Things have not gone well.
It's bullshirt.
Bullshirt. Sorry, this has been bullshirt. It's been a month. I'm in still a good bit of pain on my right side. A lot of swelling, a lot of ouch, a lot of nights laying in bed with a tear in my eye, thinking, "Yep, I have fucked up now. Now I have fucked up."
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
Don't break
you
my butt.
You have fucked up now.
You have fucked up now. Listen to the lady, John. So, I've done a lot of research. I did go back to the doctor. They're like, "Nah, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine." But then you got to think about it, right? What impetus? How would it behoove a doctor that does any kind of procedure or surgery on you to say, there may have been a complication. This didn't go as well as we wanted it to. Let's dig into that. We like to think that they would do that. But what impetus is there? None. Zero. As a matter of fact, that it makes more sense for them to deny it because, like for a urologist, doing a vasectomy should be, like a dentist doing a filling. It should be quick and easy. They don't, they just do it. And then it goes on their resume. I've done 5,000 fucking vasectomies, never had a problem. They don't want to say I've done 5,000 vasectomies and about 10% of those were complete clusterfucks. It just doesn't behoove them to do that, and it's really kind of, I've never had a real great opinion of medical professionals, but this just lessens it, I think, actually. So we'll see where I'm at in another month. So if I'm experiencing what they say I am, which is what they call a scrotal hematoma, it should clear up here in another couple of weeks. And I'm not trying to deter anybody from getting a vasectomy, but just remember it is a fucking surgical procedure, and read up, know what you're fucking doing before you do it. Because our joke is, they're like 3 days and you'll be doing parkour. Even if you couldn't do parkour before, you can after vasectomy. And it's not like that. But most of the guys I talk to say, yeah, after 3 or 4 days, I'm pretty good. And I do think that that's the norm, honestly. But there can be complications, kids. But kids are not one of the complications. So.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a buddy that didn't wait long enough, didn't get checked, and afterwards, and now he has 4 kids. Yeah. So, and that was his thing. He's like, all I can tell you is make sure you do that sperm count test a couple months out like you're supposed to. Just be patient. And I was like, well, I'm not out there really even dating right now. So,
Well, I think there's a different expectation, and I could be wrong about this because, obviously I'm not a millennial, I'm not a Generation Z person, but with us growing up, there were always a lot of medical shows on TV where you had this brilliant doctor. It didn't matter if it was a man or a woman. They were always this brilliant doctor.
Oh, yeah. House, ER.
There was some bullshit going on, and
House is my favorite.
Yeah, and it's like especially when you go to the doctor as an adult, because I'm a big believer. Once you pass 30, especially 40, you're going to wind up with your odd medical problem. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is that you've got to deal with for the rest of your life. And then you walk in, and there's often some difficulty in finding this medical problem. And you've been growing up watching all these doctors solve problems in 30 minutes to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And now you go to the doctor as an adult, and they have to run tests. And and for a decent period of time, what's going to happen is they're going to throw darts at the diagnosis board based on the symptoms that you have, and you're going to hear a lot of wrong stuff before you find out something right. And sometimes they just don't fucking know.
Well, that's if you can find a doctor that'll even do that. I mean, average doctor visits, what, about 8 minutes? I mean, you go in and they
give you antibiotics and then you leave.
Yeah, antibiotics and steroids. I had a doctor that, I swear to God, every time I went to him, he'd say, "So you still smoking?" "Doc, I've never smoked in my life." Oh. So okay. So here's some steroids and antibiotics. I'm here for a physical, dude. Like, yeah, okay.
All right, been over.
Yeah, right. I've had doctors that fought me on. I had an allergist that fought me. He was just dead set that I needed allergy shots, and I'm like, that's neat because you haven't done a single fucking test. You haven't done any diagnostics whatsoever. You're just jumping into allergy. Allergy shots, in my opinion, are it's like manufacturing. They're manufacturing patients for that. Not that some people don't need them, but they dole these fucking things out like fucking crazy. He was trying to get me to allergy shots, and we fought about doing tests, and he's like, "Oh, your insurance and all that." And I said, "Well, would you just fucking run it?" And I say, "I've got a credit card. I need to know what the fuck's going on here." Comes back and he's like, "Hey, you got good insurance. It's going to totally pay for all these fucking tests, man." And he came back and showed me that I was allergic to a couple of things, right? But that's how I see doctors now. It's just money. It's just generating money. That's really all they give a fuck about. If I'm sick, I try to figure out myself. A lot of things for me boiled down to just diet and exercise. Yeah, it doesn't control everything, but it's controlled a lot of the issues. Doug very lovingly calls one of my issues pineapple face, because it looks like I got beat in the face with a pineapple whenever I eat too much processed sugar or carbs, actually. This started in about 2013. Actually, as a matter of fact, I was seeing on Facebook Memories, which is the only reason I'm even still on Facebook, really, I'm starting to complain about the problem in 2013. Deathly ill, 104.4 degree fever, was 10, 12 days. I was down, couldn't breathe. My lungs felt like I had an elephant standing on them. And again, antibiotics and steroids and codeine cough syrup from like 3 different doctors over this 12, 15-day period. Not a single fucking one even swabbed me, man. They didn't even swab me to see if there was a buildup of bacteria.
But you were getting turned though, so
yeah,
worth it.
Yes, I was. I had that scissor and was fucking good to go.
He stacked up like 4 styrofoam cups. Make sure it was well insulated. At
least 4. Here I come pimping. Got sick as a dog. Nobody could figure it out. And then afterwards, when I got better, quotes, I developed 2 things: asthma, which I never had before in my life, and eczema, and on my face and head. And nobody could figure out either one of them, right? Which is one of the reasons I take COVID seriously. That, when people are like, "Oh, it's dumb. It doesn't cause all this shit." Dude, I got what seemed like the flu, and my lungs and skin have never been the fucking same after. It's been 10 years almost. and I'm still battling with it. So yeah, my opinion of doctors is not real high, but yeah, sugar and carbs causes pineapple face. And they always know. I'll walk into work and Doug will be like, "Yeah, you've been hitting the sugar, haven't you?" I'm like, "Fuck off, Doug," because it looks like somebody beat me in the face with a pineapple and it
Be
hurts.
like, what? Did you get into a bag of Tootsie Rolls or some shit?
God damn it. Him and those goddamn Tootsie Rolls. I got a coworker that keeps Tootsie Rolls are a weakness for me, man. It's fucking weird to watch like I'm watching myself, third person going, no, Dan, get your hand out of that bag. Dan, don't unwrap that. Dan, why are you putting that in your mouth? Would you? God damn it. Sugar is highly addictive. I don't care what anybody says. It's the one thing, well, caffeine, I'm having a hard time with caffeine. Again, I was telling the guys I was trying to wean off of it. And then yesterday I hit Adam up. I'm like, hey, going to Sam's Club, pick up a couple cases of fucking Red Bull. You need anything? It's like, no, you're not addicted, dude. No, I can stop whenever I want.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna.
I just don't wanna. Yeah, I didn't go to Sam's either. I drove over and I got in the parking lot, and just between my fucking crotch hurting and just people, I just sat there for a minute. I was like,
you were
no.
feeling a little testy when you got there. So what you're saying. That's right.
That was funny, actually. I just gotten done at the orthodontist. I'm getting Invisalign, and she says, she goes, you have a very complicated mouth, Mr. Adams. I felt like saying, wow, you sound like my boss. So yeah, my teeth are all fucked up. They're healthy and clean, but they're a bit twisted. But chick seems pretty good. That was cool, and I sent you guys the picture. She's a Dr. Seuss fan, man, and the whole fucking place is just full of Dr. Seuss posters. But the best fucking part were the mounted heads of all the different Dr. Seuss characters.
Dr. Seuss never needs to be 3D. That's
it was
all I'm
fucking
saying.
Great, dude. It's these, like, you'd mount a deer head, but it was the different creatures from the Dr. Seuss books. And I walked in, and I remember I was a little uncomfortable at first, not because there were mounted fictional characters on the wall, but I was just like, I am not the normal demographic for this office. Nickelodeon playing on the fucking SpongeBob on the TV and shit like that. I was like, I feel strange. And the woman's like, nah. She's like, we get a bunch of adults in here. She said, but yeah, I mean, kids are at an orthodontist. And my advice, if you got kids, take them to an orthodontist, whether you think they need it or not. Let them get in there and look. I've had shitty dental care like everything else. Adam and I got to experience the same dentist here in Colorado, and she was fucking awful.
She was trash.
I've still got like spackle on teeth that I didn't even get fillings. So I went to this new dentist, and she was talking to her tech, and she's like, yeah, and you see this right here? This is where they've splattered some of the filler on over here. And you can see there's no work done on this teeth, and there's absolutely no reason for this to be here. And she's scraping away, found a hole that they covered up. Like there was still a hole under the filling and shit like that. And it was great because, doctors and dentists won't badmouth each other, right? There's a little click there. But she made it real fucking clear that other dentist was trash.
Yeah.
So
it's bad when you open your mouth and your dentist goes, so who were you going to? And then they make a funny face like, ooh.
Was that a Mopar shop or a Ford shop? Did they use a wrench on this? Yeah, exactly. Fucking A. It's been a weird couple of weeks for me, I guess, but that's no different than any other day or week. So
if every week is weird, then are they really weird?
Right, it creates a baseline, doesn't it?
Yes, your new baseline is now normal.
Weird is the new normal. Karens are the new black. Oh, did you see? Media has picked it up. I saw it on Reddit. Yeah, the blonde chick in she's in a bakery. I don't know if it's like a Panera or whatever, but she doesn't want to wear a mask, right? Of course. And she's got a couple of kids with her that look like they are of mixed ethnicity. But she's as white as fucking mayonnaise and blonde. And she's dropping N-bombs on this dude behind the counter. Just talking about how she's not going to wear a mask. And she calls him a bitch ass, N-bomb. And It was incredibly fucking cringy. But then they find other videos of her walking around with MAGA hats on. Shocker. And, just going on and on and on. And on Reddit, people are like, yeah, apology video incoming, One, I don't know why people act like that. Two, it's like that and the guys who try to fake getting hit by a car to get insurance. Like, there's video everywhere nowadays, guys. And part of me, I get it. It's a little Orwellian, little 1984. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to see these fucktards get called out as fucktards on video. It really is. I mean, it's like anything else. Video and the internet is neither good nor evil. It's all in how it's used. And personally, I think it's good when a fucktard gets called out. I really do. But yeah, I'll send you guys that video. It's painful to watch. It's like, oh God, please stop talking. And you procreated, and it appears that you procreated with somebody of a different ethnicity.
Well, stupid people tend to fuck more, and they don't use birth control. So,
well, that is true. That is true. I spend a lot of money and pain to try and not be one of those stupid people. I still want to fuck, but I don't want to procreate.
Unfortunately, stupid knows no demographic. And it's like, more than anything, I feel sorry for that lady's fucking kids. Are you shitting me?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to hear your mom say that and I don't know, they could have been Indian, Hispanic. I don't know. They were just, maybe it was just a really dark white guy. I don't know. But between the hair and the skin color, they definitely look to be of some other ethnicity beyond, pale white.
Yeah, your standard Anglo-American.
Anglo mutt. Beautiful children, but yeah, you got to wonder if there is some ethnicity there, black or Hispanic, and you've got a mom that's dropping that kind of bullshit. Maybe right now they don't understand it, but as they get older and ethnicity and race and heritage and things like that start to boil up in their minds, that's going to be tough on them, right? My mom is a fucking racist, but I'm black or half black, or my dad's black or whatever, then how the fuck does that compute?
Don't know, but that teenage rebellion phase is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no shit. The world, the world's always been an angry, hateful place. But again, I think media has made people realize. I'll be honest, and this is not something that I ever thought I'd hear myself say, but I don't think that I truly had a handle on how much fucking racism still exists nowadays. I mean, I knew it existed. I'm not stupid. And I grew up in Northeast Ohio by West Virginia in fucking farm country. And I heard the N-word used and Pollock jokes and, the whole fucking gambit. So I knew it existed, but there's a lot of underground, if you will, or there's a lot of low key fucking racism out there. And I think we saw it. I mean, even with like the boiling up into the Capitol riots, and you see these people do shit and the cops don't do anything about it. Because the person that was, offended or whatever was a minority, was of some other ethnic group. There is a fuck ton of racism out there. And I don't think that I realized how much there is. And I know there's going to be people out there. I know people, goddamn racism. There ain't no goddamn racism out there.
Well, the social media rabbit hole does not help with that any. And depending upon where you're at, I think a lot of it is race plays a factor. Plays a very large factor, but I think even more than that, politics as associated with race is even more of a factor. Because obviously there are some things going on with things that have been in the news forever, police, and as it relates to black people in the whole nine yards. But especially in the South, there's nothing quite as demonized as a black Democrat with an active political opinion.
Mm-hmm. They're all communists, and they all want to change everything. Well, they do kind of want to change everything there, Sparky.
Everything's
and-
fine. Why
and
we
that's
change?
right.
And let me go ahead and say this, and that's not to say that every black Democrat has the purest of intentions.
Oh God, no.
Just like
Look at the
every
mayor of
white
Birmingham.
Yeah, just like
times.
every white Republican or black Democrat, or excuse me, black Republican, or
White Democrat.
white Democrat, or it's there's lots of shitty people out there, and occasionally some of those that seek power are shitty people.
Yeah, most of them are. Honestly, I think when you start seeking power, that makes you a shitty person, right? There's a difference between wanting to help and wanting power. And the thing is I think politics has hit a point where the majority are not out there to help anymore. The majority want influence, money, power, all of the dark side of the force fucking, traits. And that's why I am baffled by people that just swing on the dicks of conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. Wow, really? How about you just judge the person by their actions and by their words and by what they do?
Thinking for yourself, a novel idea.
Don't say that too loud. We'll have the goddamn Gestapo, on top of us, or we'll get cancel cultured. Fucking cancel culture.
If a bunch of people I don't give a fuck about decide that they don't give a fuck about me, I'm cool with that.
Right? It's funny how that works. I think that's like the Pythagorean theorem or something.
You're
like
canceled.
That, right?
From what?
Yeah, it's and like I said, it goes both ways. I get very irritated at the far right wing conservatives, and I get equally fucking annoyed at the far left wing liberals.
It's another side of the same coin.
It is,
because the right complains about cancel culture, and cancel culture complains about the right, and they go after, and it's not everything on the right. It's both of this. I'm talking about the far ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And
you can be a liberal or a conservative and not be
right.
a nut job.
And they both break down to exactly, it's like there's lots of conservatives out there who aren't nut jobs, and that's what drove me nuts about, when QAnon and conspiracy theory disinformation came out there. And when somebody tried to put a lid on what was obvious bullshit, they were claiming they were trying to silence conservative voices. I'm like, no, you're not conservative at all.
You're not a conservative voice.
I was about to say, you're, about as conservative as Heinrich Himmler. Are you shitting me with this? But it's just absolutely crazy. But it's two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
They're going after somebody else that does not agree with them. You do not agree with me, therefore you're wrong. Therefore you must be removed from the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the goal of the far right conspiracy crap and the goal of cancel culture. You do not agree with me, therefore you are no longer valid.
And I'm reminded of when growing up, Marvel used to have these what if comic books, right? And in my head, I wonder sometimes what would happen if you just gave the conservatives everything they wanted. Like if you just woke up one day and the world just flashed over to all of their beliefs, like they'd just be standing there going, the John Travolta meme, looking back and forth. Because now what the fuck are you going to do? And honestly, liberals are this, like I say conservatives, but either of the far
they would want
sides.
more. They would change what they want.
Right, exactly. They would change what they want because it's all about being right. It's about winning and being right. And you're wrong, I'm right. There was a concept back in the 70s, I think, called transactional analysis. And the name of the book, and it gets shit on all the time, is I'm okay, you're okay. And in that, these people, the way they are, it's I'm okay, you're not okay. And it's always going to be that way no matter what they're doing. They love a fight. They love to be proven right and stick their chest out like a proud dog that just brought you a rabbit. That's what they care about. It's not about the thing or the actual, point or topic. It's about winning and being right. And I know so many fucking people like that. And everybody likes being right. But when I'm right, I don't rub it in your fucking face. Now, let me preface. Yes, sometimes when we're fucking off, I'm like, look at that, Doug. Hey, look at him. I was right.
How right I was.
That's called being a shit for amusement. And Dan loves to do that.
Yes,
it's
I
like,
do.
If he can possibly be a shit towards another human being and draw amusement from that, he's going to do it.
Yeah. There's no two ways about that. I like getting up under people's skin because I think it's a form of almost control. Because like Adam said, he pointed out, and millennials are really well more equipped to deal with this. Why the fuck do I care? Right? And if somebody's coming after me and they're just a piece of shit and I don't fucking care, I don't fucking care. Whatever, I've been called names and fucked with and everything else. But I look at the source, if it's one of my friends or something, then it's really about, well, wait a minute, man, I respect you and I care about you and I'm curious why you think this of me, why you have that opinion of me. But at the end of the day, if Doug just decided he fucking hated me, sure, I'd be bummed out about that, but I'd move on with my fucking life because I can't control what other people think about me all the time. And I find millennials are way more, it's almost an apathy where if there's a group that doesn't like them or a person that doesn't like them and they don't value that group, they go, meh, but then you got a lot of people out there that just have to be right all the time. They have to have everybody agree with them.
Millennials grew up on the internet, so there's always somebody that's going to disagree with
touche. There's always
what you have to say.
When you've been trolled since the time that you were in your fucking Spider-Man underoos. There we go. Spider-Roos. It's a new thing. It's the off-brand. It's the obvious plant brand. There's something to be said there, about trying to please everybody, and you're never going to do it. But yeah, I like getting up under people's skin a little bit. But yeah, I'll be a shithead like that. But if we're actually discussing something and I'm wrong or I'm right, if I'm right, I go, okay, yeah, see, I thought that was what I had read, and I'll throw an article at somebody or whatever. And if I'm wrong, I'll say, oh, shit. I don't know what it was that made me think that or, whatever. I've argued. Doug and I have argued about dumb shit and gone back and fucking forth until one of us finally, proves that the other one's wrong, right, whatever. And we've all done it, man. I fought with Doug and then we're like, oh, fuck, you know what? Shit, you know what? You're right. And Doug says,
just kidding.
Then then that's it. We don't sit and rub that shit in each other's faces.
No, because we're, effectively, as opposed to having an argument, basically we're having a debate.
Well, yeah, right. And I'm sorry, I said argument, but you're right. It is no, Doug, we argue. We argue. We don't debate that. No, we argue.
Debate this, Dan. Debate that.
Ding, 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 ding.
But, the thing is, if you have a person, well, a lot of people out there consider themselves informed and intelligent, but, I think
the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah, I think the true test of intelligence is not clinging to shit based on merely some sort of fucked up belief system that you've developed over something. It's like that's one reason why I've always been into and loved science. It's because science proves itself wrong constantly. Okay, we came up with a theory that explains this, and then they're presented with another circumstance that theory doesn't explain. Okay, fuck it, let's go back to the drawing board. So that's one thing that's always infuriated me, regardless of who it is. But since the tobacco era when you got into the 80s, where there was this big thing that tobacco is bad, and cigarette companies are still trying to deny it. It seems like the party that they like to go to if they want to sell bullshit is the Republican Party. Okay, this, I know science says this is happening, but we don't, because we found these 3 people in the backwater of God knows where that say it's false. So therefore, both sides are equal, and it's just based on your opinion. And they love to do that, as far as they'll put 2 people side by side next to each other in a frame, arguing 2 different sides of an issue, and 98% of the facts will be with one person, but that 2% person is sitting right there next to them like they're fucking equal.
Science does not give a fuck about your feelings.
No, it does not.
Well, and it's, and again, and I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this, but I don't care. What a term that you hear all the time is conservative Christian, right? Conservative Christian, right? So Christianity, the entire concept of God, kind of goes against science, and science kind of goes against God. So I could see where they would be a little more apt to argue science as being, false or, whatever, when it goes kind of against everything they were raised to believe.
Yeah, but at the same time, when a lot of those people turn around and go to the hospital and the doctor says, we're going to need to give you this to live. They're all about that shit.
But then they're the same ones
science.
They're the same ones that say, thank God for giving the doctor the insight and intelligence to know that I had a cucumber stuck up my butt.
Now they need to be thanking the University of Columbia or wherever the fuck they went.
Exactly.
Because God didn't come down and touch that person's head. They went to fucking school to learn.
Doug.
Yep, totally did.
God works in mysterious ways.
Right. Exactly. That's where it always kind of leads to. I think it's
that would be an interesting troll, Mr. Adam. It's like somebody comes out and says just some weird shit, and no matter what it is, you could just sign it off with God works in mysterious ways.
That's not a troll. That's every middle-aged Southern fucking woman in Alabama. Are you shitting me? Not a troll. That's a way of life.
Well, I mean, just think about it used in this particular context. Let's say Joe Biden does something that Southern Christians don't like. And then you say, God works in mysterious ways.
You roll out the predestiny on him and tell him, hey, it's all part of his plan.
It's all part of God's plan, man. There's a College Humor. I think it was College Humor did a skit there. It's like after a basketball game, and they're like, asking the guy questions. He's like, I got to give all the glory to God. And they're like, but Steve, you lost. He goes, yeah, and I think we need to, give credit where credit's due. It was God. He just wasn't letting me make those 3-pointers. It's one of my favorites just because of how asinine that is.
But you lost. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. Still, that was God. That was God. Part of God's plan. He wanted me to lose. So. All right. Well, since we've all established our place in hell, I think I'm good.
Blackjack and hookers. Let's go.
Blackjack and hookers.
I'll be smoking a turd in the first row.
Gross.